this beautiful Thursday afternoon or evening, depending on where you are in this world. But yeah, it's the off season, kind of the dead zone a little bit, right? Post Super Bowl, pre free agency, the month or so that we get before we really get much news. And we'll get a little bit of news, especially on some draft prospects and things like that, but not really much news in terms of real, NFL players. We'll get stuff like the Aaron Rodgers and all of that, but not much news for the next few weeks or so, which again, it's nice. It's a nice break, but I think after like a month, I'm ready for football to come back, right? Like it's always nice to have that little break, but I think after a short period of time, you're kind of ready to get back into it. But it's a long off season for sure. But anyways, today we are going to be doing a rookie mock draft, maybe two, maybe a Dynasty startup draft potentially. So, we'll see how we go there. And I see we have a question in here, which I will get to. If you want to join the mock, you can hop in there. Link I just posted. We are using landing spots. And let me get those to you as well so you can start checking those out. I think there was a 3-round mock from NFL.com that they released recently. So it's an interesting one. Some players haven't seen taken before in a 3-round mock and all that good stuff. So Stomp, appreciate you in the Discord and always giving us nice, good, interesting trade questions there. So yeah, I appreciate you, Stomp. So I like all the questions that you pose in there, which is really nice. Harry here says, got an offer for my JSN in Hollywood for CD. Do I smash that? I would definitely take that. I would take that. If I'm getting CD Lamb, I would 100% be taking that trade there. So, yeah, 100%. I'm taking that. So hopefully you smash accept that. I guess the only way I'm taking that either way. I was going to say, unless it's like a super, super deep league in terms of starters and things like that. But no, I'm definitely taking that, Harry. They proposed that to you? They offered that trade to you? That's interesting that they would do that. Maybe they're low on CD Lamb or something. I'm not really sure why, but that's pretty interesting one right there. I'd be all over that, absolutely all over that. So 2 wide receiver, 4 flex. Yeah, I'm 100% taking that, Harry. So definitely scoop that one up if you can. Scoop that bad boy up. And of course, make sure to hit the like button if you are watching, just to get more eyes on the video. And yeah, we've been getting some news. Trickling in. Aaron Rodgers is not going to be a Jet. So I think we kind of expected it, but it kind of feels like that he potentially wants to play still. So a little curious as to where he's going to go if he does want to play, if he's even going to have a spot to go to. I know people are speculating the Steelers. Just doesn't feel like a fit for Aaron Rodgers, but I could be wrong there. Doesn't necessarily feel like a great fit there, but who knows? Again, could be wrong. We got some news about a big draft prospect in Travis Hunter, which is interesting. I don't know how much of that news to believe and buy into, but he is going to be going to the combine as a cornerback. So does that mean he's not going to be on offense at all? He's not going to be a full-time wide receiver? I don't know. It would be interesting to follow that along. If I'm Travis Hunter, I feel like the money is in the wide receiver position. Right? Corners just have a short shelf life, it feels like, like corners are just good and then they're gone, right? Like it's a 2-3 year dominance, and then obviously depends on how good you are as a corner, but that's an interesting one for sure. That is an interesting decision, and is he going to moonlight on offense? Probably. What is that going to look like for fantasy? I don't 100% know. My guess would be my guess would be that he's in the red zone a lot. So he is in the red zone a lot. But again, we are doing a rookie mock draft, either me doing it throughout the draft here or getting you guys involved if you're interested. And we are playing with some landing spots here from NFL.com. Chad Reuter posted a 3-round mock draft. He has Cam Ward going to the Tennessee Titans, Travis Hunter to the Cleveland Browns, Shador Sanders to the Giants. Ashton Jeanty is a Raider, which I think this is possible. I definitely think this is possible. Pete Carroll loves his running backs, loves his running game, so I wouldn't be shocked by this move. We have Tyler Warren to the Saints. We have Tet McMillan is a Cowboy to play alongside CeeDee Lamb. We have who else do we have here? Colston Loveland is a Bronco. We have Quinshon Judkins is a first-round pick, 21st overall to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have Luther Burden is a Los Angeles Ram, which is interesting. Emeka Ibuka is an Eagle, another interesting one. Jackson Dart is a first-round pick. It is a New York Jet. We go to round 2 here. In round 2, we have Quinn Ewers is the first pick of round 2. He is a Brown. We have Xavier Restrepo as a Titan. Matthew Golden is a Raider. What else do we have? Omarion Hampton is a Cowboy. I mean, I think we love that. Elijah Arroyo is a Colt. We have Tez Johnson. This is probably the highest I've seen Tez Johnson be drafted in a mock. 49th overall to the Bengals. Interesting. Very interesting there. Jalen Milroe to the Steelers. And we keep going along here. And again, I left the link in the chat there, but Jack Besh is a Buffalo Bill. Jaden Blue, who I'll be honest, I have not scouted yet. And I have not seen him be drafted this high out of Texas. So I'm interested to see why Chad Reuter here likes Blue this much. But he goes to the Chiefs in the second round. He's the RB4 in this draft class? I don't know about that, but this is the world, we're living in. This is how we are. We're playing as if this were the NFL draft, right? Isaiah Bond is a Patriot. Mason Taylor is a Jag in the third round. Trey Harris, a Saint. Caleb Johnson, a Bear. That's interesting. Travion Henderson falls all the way to the Patriots in the third round. Savion Williams is a Cardinal. Harold Fannin Jr. is a Bengal. So Bengals take 2 skill position players here. We have Trevor Etienne. I haven't seen him drafted this high. Is a Jacksonville Jaguar in the third round. Dylan Gabriel is a Dolphin. Kyle McCord is a Ram. Jalen Royals is a Raven. And we keep on going here. Dylan Sampson's a Viking. I love that pick there. Jalen Lane is a Dolphin. And I believe that's it for this. So that's kind of the world we're living in here. And we're just going to get started here. If anyone wants to join us, let me know. If not, I'll kind of do this mock draft and see if we kind of get more people in here or not. It's going to be linear, 12 teams, rookies only. There we go. It's an interesting mock draft. Some players, again, that I haven't seen mocked at all. So, Jaden Blue and Trevor Etienne for 2 of them, to be specific there. So we'll fire this one up. We'll probably go 3 rounds, see if we get some more people in here, and we can redo the mock, do another mock, with everyone else. So obviously the 101 here is Ashton Jeanty. It hasn't changed. It's probably not going to change. I guess the only way it does change is if Jeanty falls in the draft for whatever reason. But he's the 101. This is a 12 team super flex. We'll just do premium. PPR. So 12 team super flex PPR league. And yeah, Ashton Genty going to the Raiders, 6th overall. So he's the number one guy for Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's going to ride him maybe like Marshawn Lynch in the Seattle Seahawks heyday. So that's a pretty easy pick there at the 101. At the 102, I'm going to Marion Hampton. I think he goes 102 here in this world, going to the Cowboys, 44th overall. He gets top 50 draft capital. He goes to the Cowboys, obviously a team that we love for the running back position. And I think of Marion Hampton to me, and I've been scouting these guys a little bit more closely, specifically that group of guys, Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Travion Henderson, and Quinshon Judkins, because those 4 guys seem to be kind of in a tier to them. You have Genty number 1, and then you have those 4 guys kind of in a tier together. And I really want to make sure I kind of get the right one here. To me, Hampton is the 102. He's the second running back, not the 102, but he's the second running back in this draft class, in my opinion. Just very special size, speed, contact balance type of stuff. Is he a perfect prospect? No, but he's awesome. Marion Hampton is awesome, and he's amazing. Next up here, I'm probably just going to go with Ted McMillan. He goes 12th overall to the Cowboys. I like that spot for him to play alongside CeeDee Lamb. I think there's room for another receiver in there. And I think he kind of complements Lamb. Lamb can move around all over the place. The defense is going to focus on Lamb wherever he goes. And Ted McMillan can just kind of carve people up one-on-one along the outside, outside of the numbers and stuff. And although I do think Ted McMillan, I don't think he's just an outside wide receiver. I do think he's more than that, so I don't think he's just this outside type of guy. I think he's more of a big possession guy in the slot. So next up, I think we got to go in this world. Man, just double checking here. You know what? I'm going to go with my RB3 here over draft capital. Man, I'm gonna see how it plays out. I'm gonna go Quinshon Judkins here because he goes 21st overall to the Steelers in this mock draft. So he gets first round draft capital. First round running backs, the hit rate on those are way better than third round running backs. Although I do like other running backs more than Quinshon Judkins, it's hard to ignore a player going 21st overall to a team that we know is going to use him. And he has the potential to be an every down back with that team, with no Najee, with no Jalen Warren. They're going to want to run the ball. They might have Justin Fields as their quarterback. So I'm going to go Quinshon Judkins here at the 104. And then it gets a little bit tough. But I think I'm going to go Luther Burden. First round wide receiver, goes to the Rams, a really good spot there. We know that the Rams know how to use wide receivers, right? We know Rams know how to use wide receivers, put them in the perfect position. I think Luther Burden is kind of what they're looking for. The only concern I would have with Luther Burden going to the Rams is the Rams, they rely heavily on their wide receivers to block from the slot position. So I'd be a little bit concerned about Luther Burden going to the Rams, knowing that they like to use their wide receivers to block, because I don't know if Luther Burden is that great of a run blocker. Puka and Cooper Kupp were. Luther Burden, I'm not 100% sure. But that's the world we're living in here. He goes to the Rams there, gets first-round draft capital. So I'm respecting that. He goes 26th overall. Next up, it's tough, but I'm gonna go the quarterback here in Cam Ward. I like Cam Ward more than Shedeur Sanders. It seems like most scouts, most NFL people that have the insider info with the NFL and stuff like that do choose Cam Ward over Shador Sanders. So I also like Cam Ward over Shador Sanders. I think the upside's there. It's a super flex league. And Garlic Bread, John, I didn't even notice you were in here. But welcome. I didn't realize you were in here, John. So it kind of like, I thought no one else was in here. But I'm gonna go Cam Ward here at the 106. John, if you didn't see the mock draft, it is right here. At the 107, I'm going to go with my RB3 here. Travion Henderson is my RB3 in this draft class. Now, he goes in the third round, but he goes to the Patriots, and I really like that spot. Vrabel coming in. Obviously, we know what Vrabel did. Yeah, you barely snuck in. No worries. I just didn't think we were going to get many people in here. I know it's a little bit earlier than we normally start. What's up, Cheesehead? We can always do another one too, another rookie mock draft. We want to get people watching in there, get a few more people in here. But Travion Henderson going to the Patriots, 77th overall. He's my RB3 in this draft class, and I think he's just the number one guy there. I think he replaces Stevenson. We know what Vrabel wants to do. I think that offense could be sneaky good if they can get another weapon in there, right? And they do draft Isaiah Bond. I don't quite see that as the guy to kind of help that offense, but if they can draft a Ted McMillan or something like that, then it could be a pretty good offense. Could be a pretty damn good offense there. I will go Shador Sanders next at the 108, and I'm really, I'm interested in that one too, John. Like I haven't scouted Blue, to be completely honest, so I don't have a whole lot to say about him. I haven't seen him mocked that high at all. So always is interesting, because I do think a lot of these people that do these mock drafts, especially people that work for NFL and other websites, they do get some insider information. So maybe they know something we don't. But I'm going to go Shador Sanders here. And I keep talking about this, but like the value that this draft class is a good draft class. I know we weren't super excited about it to begin with, but this is a good draft class. I'm all for trading back from the 102, 103, 104 to the 106, 107, 108. I'm all for it. I'm all for trading back and getting assets because this draft class is really good. And any of these guys could be the number 2 pick in this draft, in my opinion. Hampton, McMillan, Burden, Ward, Henderson, Sanders, and Quinshon Judkins if he goes first round, right? I'll start up another one here, Peter. I'll start up another one. Maybe we'll just go. Cheesehead, let me know if you're interested in hopping in as well. Maybe we'll just go one round and restart another one here and get some more people in there. But at the 109, I will go with Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren here goes 9th overall to the Saints. And then I'll finish it up by going I'm going to go with Caleb Johnson here, who actually gets really good landing spot. Goes to the Bears, and I think that's an amazing landing spot there. Caleb Johnson to the Bears, and then we'll go Emeka Ibuka, and we'll let John make that pick here. We can keep going. We got a couple people. Well, let us know if you're watching and you want to get into the next mock draft. Let us know. We can kind of start one up. Maybe we'll go 2 rounds with this one. It's a huge second tier. It really is. I do think these guys will separate themselves a little bit as we see John go Jackson Dart, who, by the way, goes first round to the Jets. 31st overall, not in their top 10 pick. I guess they trade back up in this mock, but yeah, it's for sure. Jackson Dart's getting a lot of hype. I personally don't see him going first round, maybe not even second round. I know he's getting a lot of hype and stuff like that, but I personally don't see it. But we'll go another round, see if we can get more people. I'll set up the the next mock draft as we are finishing up the second round in this one here. So there's the next one. There's the link to the next one if you want to hop in there. We'll do another round here. Yeah, so we did Emeka Ibuka. We got Jackson Dart. Caleb Johnson to the Bears, I think is amazing. I really like the idea. And Dylan Sampson, to me, has the potential to be in my top 5 or 6 running backs, I believe. I like him that much. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, and that's kind of the whole point is like, and I get a lot of pushback with people, and I understand, like, and I respect people's opinions and stuff like that. But like saying like these quarterbacks are not good. Here's what I'll say about quarterbacks. They are the hardest position to scout. They just are. They're the hardest position to scout. And in the NFL, they get them wrong all the time, right? We see them miss on quarterbacks a lot. And so when it comes to quarterback scouting, I kind of just leave it in the hands of the NFL. This was my feeling towards Bo Nix last year. Because a lot of people are like, Bo Nix is a second-round pick. And I'm saying the NFL thought he was worth a top 12 pick. I'm going to respect that, and I'm going to take a shot at him. I think I was taking him around the 108. That was kind of where I thought he should go. And, obviously that hit. Now it could not hit easily. I'll take Colston Loveland here, who goes to the Broncos, 16th overall. It could very easily not hit. But, I just kind of have to respect the NFL scouts and them doing their job type of thing. So I guess that's kind of my overall thought with that is. We'll kind of go through this second round a little bit quicker, and we'll start up the next one because I see we got several people in the next mock draft. So I'll go ahead and take Quinn Ewers here. Again, not a huge fan of Quinn Ewers, but kind of like the logic. You know what? No, I'm actually going to take Jalen Milroe because of the rushing ability. I'll take Jalen Milroe because of the rushing ability here. And then I'll take my boy Matthew Golden here, who I'm a big fan of. Just put out a video on him, Matthew Golden. You know what? I think what we're going to do, John, since you're in the next one, I think we're going to set up with the head into the next one here, just to get the people that are already in this mock a little bit. They're already starting to get set up over there, and we got some people in there. So I'm actually going to take the 101 here. But if there's anyone watching that's not in this mock, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spots open. So you can hop in there. Link is right here. We are doing with landing spots. Okay. So we are doing a landing spots here. So here's the link to the landing spots. Yeah, no worries. Here's the link to the landing spots, but I will go through it once again as we again set up this Dynasty rookie mock draft. We have Cam Ward to the Titans, 101. Travis Hunter, who we just got news is going to the combine as a cornerback. So interested to see how that affects his spot here. But we have Travis Hunter to the Browns, Shador Sanders to the Giants. Ashton Genty is a Raider, 6th overall. Tyler Warren gets top 10 draft capital going to the Saints. Ted McMillan to the Cowboys. We have Colston Loveland to the Broncos. We have a couple wide receivers that go back-to-back here. Oh, no, we have Quinshon Judkins to the Steelers, gets first-round draft capital. Interesting. We have Luther Burden and Emeka Ibuka back-to-back by the Rams and Eagles to in the late first. We have Jackson Dart coming in, 31st overall to the Jets. By the way, Jackson Dart does have some rushing upside. Quinn Ewers to the Browns, 33rd overall. Xavier Restrepo to the Titans. We have Matthew Golden to the Raiders. These are our landing spots, guys, in the world we are living in here. We have Amarion Hampton to the Cowboys. I think that's a juicy spot there. Elijah Arroyo to the Colts. Tez Johnson to the Bengals. I haven't seen that before. Jalen Milroe is a Steeler. Jack Besh is a Buffalo Bill. Jaden Blue, who I haven't scouted, so I can't really talk much about him. 63rd overall to the Chiefs is very interesting. I'm curious to go look at Blue now, maybe later this week. Isaiah Bond is a Patriot. Mason Taylor is a Jag. Trey Harris is a Saint, and this is all third round. Caleb Johnson is a Bear, joins up with Ben Johnson, the Johnson twins. Travion Henderson is a Patriot. Savion Williams is a Cardinal. Harold Fannin is a Bengal. We have Trevor Etienne, who I haven't seen drafted this high, is a Jacksonville Jaguar. Dylan Gabriel is a quarterback to the Dolphins. Kyle McCord out of Syracuse to the Rams. Jalen Royals to the Ravens. Dylan Sampson to the Vikings, I love. Jalen Lane, who I also haven't scouted, to the Dolphins in the third round. That's the last one there. So that's the world we are living in, guys. That is our mock draft here. So again, I'll give it another minute before we start this bad boy up. But if anyone wants to join this mock draft, we have some spots open. If not, we will just kind of get started here. That is the invite to join. Make sure I have all the settings right here. This is a linear draft. I'll give you 2 minutes on the clock. No auto picks here. And we'll give it another minute before we get started here, because I know we have a little bit of a delay. Yeah, I am curious, though, like, just because he's going to the combine as a cornerback, does that mean that's what his intended position is going to be? You know? Maybe it's more of a... Nice, Marvin, let us know. Marvin, and if you want to join our mock draft, hop on in. Link is right here. I don't know if you have Sleeper or something. If you want to, this is just a Dynasty rookie mock draft, but let us know the trade. He's better as a corner. I think he's an awesome wide receiver too. I think he could be the number one wide receiver in the draft. Like, the ball skills are insane. And I think because he has such good ball skills, it's more, I think he gets drafted higher as a cornerback, right? I think he gets drafted higher as a corner. But the money, because I think it's just corner is more valuable, right? It's much harder to find an elite cornerback with ball skills than it is a wide. There's so many good wide receivers every draft. No worries, Marvin. No worries. Every draft, there's so many good wide receivers, so it's much harder to find that elite corner, especially one with incredible ball skills. So I've said that about 3 times here. I'm going to start this bad boy up here just so we get going. But there's more money for him as a wide receiver. And I think he's a great wide receiver, by the way. Make sure the sound's off there. So it's a 14-man super flex. Sutton and Ridley for Bateman in the 205. Sutton and Ridley for Bateman in the 205. I wanted Yoshi Voss Vidal and Calvin Austin if I can. You want to acquire them, or you want to trade for them? So Ashton Jency's the 101. Again, he goes to the Raiders. Omarion Hampton is my 102 if the draft plays out this way. Omarion Hampton goes to the Cowboys. So I'm taking him at the 102 there. Sutton and Ridley for. So which side did you get, Marvin, for this one? Which side did you get for this one? And let me know. And so we see Quinshon Judkins go 103. By the way, Quinshon Judkins is the RB2 in this mock draft, and he goes 21st overall to the Steelers. So it's hard to argue against it, hard to argue against it, because he's also in that tier of guys like, Quinshon Judkins could be a stud. I'm going to go ahead and take Ted McMillan, goes to the Cowboys, 12th overall. So I'll go ahead and take him there. Still think he's in contention to be the 102 potentially. Let me see here. The Bateman side. I definitely can't ignore that draft capital. Yeah. So you got the Bateman side. Yeah, I don't mind it. I probably honestly would have kept Sutton and Ridley, just because you're kind of getting two starters there and a 14 teamer in a 14 team super flex. I don't know how many you're starting necessarily, but if you're starting, a decent amount, I probably prefer the Sutton Ridley side. But I also, you're getting out on them and getting some value for them. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it. By the way, I didn't even say in the chat, this is a just a 12 team super flex, 12 team super flex PPR league. No tight end premium for this one. No tight end premium here. So, anyways, I'm going to go. Travion Henderson went. Travion Henderson in this draft goes to the Patriots in the 3rd round here. I'm going to go Luther Burden. Luther Burden on the Rams is just pretty intriguing. By the way, if there's anyone in here that's not in the database that you want to draft, just put it in the chat. Just put it in the chat and just take like a tight end all the way down the board or something. And you can say, oh, this was supposed to be, Jalen Knoll, who's not in the database for whatever reason. But I'm going to go Luther Burden, 26th overall to the Rams. I like the landing spot. No more Cooper Kupp. And I think him and Puka Nacua can kind of just be the 1-2 in that option. And we've seen, obviously Puka is the number 1, but I like Burden there, and I like the Caleb Johnson pick. I almost went with Caleb Johnson, not reuniting, but joining Ben Johnson. And we know what Ben Johnson wants to do. He's going to want to run the ball here. So I like that. Even though it's 3rd round draft capital, Caleb Johnson's interesting. I have him behind Travion Henderson. I just like Henderson's ability to create a little bit more, but I love Caleb Johnson. I think he's a great player. So I can't let the quarterbacks drop too far. I'm just going to go back-to-back quarterbacks here in Cam Ward, who goes number 1 overall to the Titans, and Shedeur Sanders going to the Giants here. And then I'm gonna go with Tyler Warren. We'll go with Tyler Warren here at the 110. Tyler Warren at the 110. As we got Pete on the clock there. Hopefully that internet. What's up, Pete? By the way, I haven't said hi to you today. We'll see who Pete takes. I know Pete likes a couple guys. He likes a couple guys here, so we'll see where he goes. And start thinking about your favorite pick, guys. Your favorite pick from the 1st round, and start letting me know in the chat who your favorite pick is. There's a lot of good players. I'm telling you, I really like this draft class. I really do. I keep talking about it, but I'm a big fan. A big fan of this draft class, and a big fan of trading back. I thought that's who you're going to go with, Pete, Trey Harris. And I know you like him a lot. And, if you value yards per route run, then Trey Harris is the guy you want to be taking because he has an insane yards per route run stat here. I'm going to go ahead and just grab I'll take Jackson Dart. Here. So let me know 1st round. How are we thinking? Favorite pick in the 1st round here? Steal of the 1st is Judkins. Best pick, steal of the 1st is Judkins. And look who took Judkins. John. No, again, 1st round pick. Like you can't argue it. It's interesting. John, would you take Judkins if it played out this way? Would you take Judkins over Hampton? Even though Hampton, for a lot of people, is the RB2. I don't know if he's the RB2 for you in particular, but but he goes to the Cowboys, but he goes in the 2nd round, right? But yeah, let me know any other picks here that you guys really enjoy. I think it's interesting with Trey Harris. I'm not the biggest Trey Harris fan. I get the yards per route run is insane. Here's the one thing I'll say about yards per route run. Obviously a lot of the top receivers that finish at the top are they have a high yards per route run, right? I don't know how predictive necessarily it is for obviously if you're going to finish near the top, you're going to have a high yards per route run. But is the yards per route run the reason why you're finishing high, if that makes sense, right? I think it's a good tool to find maybe some people, some diamonds in the rough. I don't think it's the be all end all to say, like, oh, this guy's going to be good because of it, especially in college offenses. Like, and that's my worry about Jackson Dart is my worry about him is just that offense was so simplified and like very made it very easy for anyone to kind of be the quarterback there. And I just wish I would have seen more production from Dart early on in his career, you know, and it's just like he's been around for a while and he just finally kind of broke out. But, you know, again, he's going first round to the Jets. He got some weapons there. I'm going to go Emeka Ibuka at the 201, gets first round draft capital, goes to the Eagles, which I don't love. But you know, things could change very quickly there, very quickly. And then I'm going to go Dylan Sampson. I'm a big Dylan Sampson guy. He goes to the Vikings in the 3rd round, which I think is a nice landing spot for a running back, whoever it is. So John says the reason I went Judkins over Tet is because Tet and CD on the same team competing for targets and Judkins alone in the backfield. Yeah, no, I get that. I do think there's room for more than one pass catcher in Dallas to be successful. And I love the pairing of Tet and CD. CD can be that movable piece, outside slot, whatever, put him in motion. Defenses focus in on him. Tet just kind of dominates one-on-one, and that could leave Tet one-on-one on the outside. By the way, I think Tet can also play in the slot. His slot numbers were really damn good when he was in there. He just didn't play a lot in the slot. That rhymes. And then we have Jaden Blue. Again, based off draft capital, he goes to the Chiefs 63rd overall. I haven't scouted him, so I don't really have anything to say about Jaden Blue. So that's the one thing I'll say. But, I mean, you can't ignore the draft capital there. And then I'm going to go my guy Matthew Golden here. I keep talking about him. I'm a big Matthew Golden fan. He goes to the Raiders. So I think he's like probably the 2-3 option year one, and then probably the 2 option 2026 and beyond there. So, yeah, Pete. Yeah. But again, like, I think Trey Harris has an incredible ceiling, but I also think he has an incredibly low floor. Like, I think the range of outcomes for Harris is just like, you know, it kind of reminds me a little bit like Christian Watson, I guess, where like we know the tools are there, but can he put it all together type of thing, you know, and we haven't yet seen it from someone like Christian Watson yet. So, Matthew Golden, yeah, I took there. Yeah, I do like to see him play inside. I will say, you know, a lot of times colleges, like, just because they use him one way in college, like Justin Jefferson was used exclusively like in the slot at LSU. People are questioning, can he play on the outside? Because you need to be able to play both outside and inside. You don't need to, but it makes it easier for fantasy. And obviously we see what Justin Jefferson is, right? Cheeseheads is on the clock with the 205. We'll see where he goes here. Yeah, maybe. I will say, like, he came back from a broken leg, and generally people Pacheco, that is, generally people that come back from that type of injury, even the next year, even when they are a year off the injury, don't necessarily do well. And he came back in what, like 6-7 weeks. I kind of expected him to be to have a rough start. So I don't know if Pacheco's done. I've never been the biggest Pacheco guy, though, and I do think they need another weapon on that team, specifically in the run game here. So I'm going to take my shot on Jalen Milroe, although I don't think he's going to be a very good quarterback. But you give me a year of like top 7 production, and Colston Loveland, by the way, what a steal. I probably should have taken Loveland there. Colston Loveland going all the way here at the 207 is pretty insane. Tight end premium, he goes higher, but he's a top 16 pick in the draft. Goes to the Broncos. I think that was an easy pick there for you, T Zane. Let's go with Tez Johnson. Goes to the Bengals. 49th overall. Does that mean T. Higgins is gone? Maybe. Maybe it does. And then we're going to go Besh. Already went. Never mind. That was a good pick by you. I'm trying to follow the draft more than anything. I guess I'll go Quinn Ewers. I'll take a shot late second on a guy that goes to the Browns here, 33rd overall. He's going to get at least a shot. He's going to get a Will Levis year, right? And what if he's a solid quarterback? And then I'll grab Elijah Arroyo here. Elijah Arroyo going to the Colts. It's hard to focus sometimes when I'm the only one on here and trying to follow the mock draft. I kind of lose track of people like Colston Loveland. Kind of just lost track of him there, but that was a good pick. A good pick for sure. Something I'm going to be releasing in the Discord specifically is historical hit rates and why draft capital matters. So that's going to be released for you guys in the Discord. Is the historical hit rates and, top 10, taking first round, guys taking top 40, top 50, and then, by round, second, third, fourth, fifth, and kind of look at it and analyze it from there. So we got Pete on the clock here. Yeah. I think I made a video on it last year. Usually those videos don't do very well, just because it's a lot of numbers being thrown at you. So I think I'll just leave it more for the Discord. And I think that's kind of the better way to go for it. But yeah, it's rounds. The draft capital does matter. That's what I'll say. Is draft capital is a big thing. Whether we like guys or not, we got to kind of respect the draft capital a little bit. Are we just not drafting Travis Hunter? Are we just assuming he's a corner? I'm curious about that. I'm curious if we're just we're completely out on him or not. I don't know. I am curious to see how that develops over the week. Pete, you made the pick. Nice. Cam Scatterbo. Like it. I like it a lot here. I don't love a lot of the players that were taken in this draft. I'm going to go Savion Williams. I think he's an interesting pairing in Arizona. And again, I beg whatever team takes Savion Williams, please use him like Cordero Patterson. I keep saying it over and over and over again. And also, Jalen Royals is another player. I don't love the landing spot, though, going to the Ravens. I hate that landing spot. I'm going to take Xavier Restrepo, who goes 35th overall to the Titans. I think he's just a solid player. I don't know what his ceiling is, but I think he could be just a solid bench guy for you. I'm going to go ahead and just take Travis Hunter. I'll take a shot in the third round. I don't know. I honestly don't know what I'm doing with it. I don't know if him going to the combine as a corner means he's just going to play corner. I do kind of agree with you, John, that he is better as a corner. As we see John take Isaiah Bond here. Isaiah Bond goes 69th to the Patriots, man. Bond has the tools, that's for sure. He definitely has the tools. I'll go ahead and take Jalen Royals. I think he's a good player. Hate the landing spot to the Ravens, but I'll take it here, Mr. Jalen Royals. It's just, man, they can't even make Zay Flowers really that fantasy relevant. So, yeah, it is a good spot. I'm just man, I know the speed's there. He's probably going to run potentially in the 4.2s, but just the lack of production bothers me. It really does bother me. As we see Jaden Higgins go, who doesn't get drafted in this mock, but that is completely fine because I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go ahead and take Devin Neal, who also doesn't get drafted here. I like me some Devin Neal. I think he's a solid player. And depending on where he goes, he could move up the draft board as well. Depending on where he goes. Yeah, but Bond to the Pats, that's interesting. Gives Drake. I understand why they would do that. It does a lot for your offense, right? Ollie Gordon at the 307. Don't hate that pick at all. I'll go ahead and take Jalen Lane here. If he's in the database, he's not. So I'm just going to take a random tight end. He goes to the Dolphins at the end of the third. That always perks your ears up when you see a potential wide receiver there going to the Dolphins. We kind of forgot about Alec Iomanner. I'll take him. He didn't get drafted in this mock, which is why we didn't take him. But a lot of people still have him as like maybe the RB, top 5, wide receiver in this draft class here. And then I'll go ahead and take my boy RJ Harvey as we let Pete make his pick here. Yeah, we'll run through a 4th round real quick before we finish up, and then I have to take off. We'll just pick guys that we want to talk about for a second. So starting to get into that next group of running backs, which I'm excited about. That tier of running backs of if you want to include Hampton, Henderson, Caleb Johnson, and Judkins, I've decided my order for those guys. And it's definitely Hampton to me is the clear number 2 guy in this draft class. I love everything about Hampton, the size, speed combination. I think he'd be the number 1 running back in a lot of draft classes. And then it's Travion Henderson is the RB3, and then Caleb Johnson, and then Quinshon Judkins. That's how I have it ordered. My one issue, it's not really an issue with Caleb Johnson, but I don't think he's very creative. And I think to me, I'm going to be a little bit more concerned about where he goes and really want him to go to the right team in the draft. So, because I think he's a little bit more dependent on having a pretty decent offensive line. Every running back's dependent on their offensive line. I just think guys like Henderson and Hampton can potentially create a little bit more and at least give you something. Whereas Caleb, I think he's a little bit more downfield straight line guy. And he does kind of need his offensive line to help him out there. So, do I take Hampton over Tet? If I had no, I think I would take Tet over Hampton in a vacuum, knowing that I'm pretty sure Tet's probably going to be a top 10 pick. Maybe he gets into the top 12. Wide receivers are generally more valuable. And Pete, looks like you missed there, but I'll go Harold Fannin for you, Pete, who, by the way, goes to the Bengals. That's probably a pretty decent pick there. But yeah, knowing that wide receivers are more valuable, he's going to get probably top 10 draft capital. I would probably, if I had to draft right now before the NFL draft, I think I'd take Tet just for the positional value. Tet probably is the 102 most often than not in drafts. So I'm going to go Damian Martinez here. And, the only time I'm going to take a quarterback that's drafted in the 3rd round that doesn't really run the ball is if they go to a team that knows how to develop quarterbacks. Kyle McCord in this draft goes to the Rams in the 3rd round. I trust the Rams. So I'm going to take him here. And I'm going to take DJ Giddens. What about you, John? Are you Hampton over Ted or Ted over Hampton? What's up, Jake? Would you send the sorry, John. Would you send the 109 for CMC? Draft class is really good this year. If I am wanting to win next year, I'm okay with it. Because although this draft class is pretty good, we convince ourselves that all these guys, I'm doing it to myself. I'm convincing myself that all these guys in the 3rd round are going to be hits. And when you go back and look at it, even though last draft class is really good, a lot of players, even in the late 1st, are not hits. So would I do it if I'm ready to compete next year? I think I would. I'm okay with it. Do I want to usually wait as long as possible to get veteran running backs, I do. But I think McCaffrey's slightly undervalued, and I think he could kind of break fantasy football again next year. I'm not too worried about the age of McCaffrey. I think he's going to be really damn good. I think he's going to be really good. So I'm okay with that. If you are ready to compete, Jake, I'm completely okay with that. Gabriel 89 to the Dolphins, I guess, is as good as any as it might be. Yeah. It's just, I think it's an interesting one for sure. It's Trevor Etienne in here. He's not, right? I'll go ahead and just take another random tight end. I'll take it as Trevor Etienne joins up with Travis Etienne as a Jacksonville Jaguar, 88th overall. So that's a little interesting there. But yeah, Jake, I think I would be okay with that for sure. I think I would be. You have Ted over Hampton, but I think it might be close. I agree. I think Hampton's really damn good, man. I think he's really, really good. Just kind of watching more games from him, and like he's so good. His vision, his contact balance. He has the speed. Is he like blazing fast? No, but he has plenty of speed to be NFL caliber. He has the size to go along with it. You know, he kind of has the full package, and he was pretty good catching the ball this year. He was pretty good catching the ball this year. So, by the way, these two tight end picks here we have Jalen Lane and who's the other one? No, Trevor Etienne at the 404. In case you're watching on replay, if you are watching on replay, hit the like button. If you want to get into the next rookie mock draft, live draft, join our Discord. I'm leaving it in the chat here. Join our Discord and get in there, and you'll kind of know when we go live. Obviously, hit subscribe and hit the bell as well, as we will go give you an update there on when we go live. And obviously, the bell will tell you when we go live. Yeah, Dylan Gabriel, I don't know. I mean, I'm not even a Kyle McCord fan, but again, take your shots on quarterbacks, I guess, right? Because if you just happen to hit on one in the second, third, or fourth round, that's a pretty good. You're at a pretty big advantage there, right? Pretty big advantage. Looks like Cheeseheads might have bailed out, which is fine. I know once we get into the fourth round, it gets a little tough, anyways. We'll go ahead. We'll take Torrey Horton here as an interesting player. Rashard Smith, I'm pretty interested in kind of seeing the what he does as a pass catcher. He's a converted receiver to running back this year. So he's either next Tyrone Tracy, Antonio Gibson, maybe so, maybe not. I don't know. And we have Bashal Tootin going, which I like. I like the pick there of Bashal Tootin. We'll go ahead and just throw some other guys out there. Jarquez Hunter out of Auburn. Jordan James out of Oregon. Jalen Knowles not in here, which is why I haven't taken him. But he's an interesting one. Man, the receivers are they get rough. They get rough quickly. After probably like Higgins and Royals and stuff, it gets a little rough for the receiver position. We'll go Mason Taylor. He got drafted in this mock draft. He goes to the Jags. They can move on from Evan Ingram pretty easily there. We'll see if Pete has returned or not. I haven't done a video covering him yet. I've scouted him a little bit. Excuse me, I should say that. But I don't know. I think he's going to be like an NFL running back, kind of a backup. That's kind of what I think he is. Just kind of a backup. I don't really see a whole lot there. Although I did see someone, I forget who it was. Someone had him as like the RB4 in this draft class. So I don't want to come to a complete conclusion on Jordan James. As Evan Stewart goes, Evan Stewart did go back to college there, Pete, just so you know, but not a huge issue. Someone had him as their RB4. You like him a lot in the value in the fourth. Yeah, I mean, you're throwing darts at this point, right? it's going to depend on where he goes. But someone had him as their RB4 in this draft class, so it made me want to go back, and I will go back and look because I'm not done scouting him at all. But I'm not the highest on him. Here's some guys that I'm a little bit higher on than I feel like a lot of people out there in general. Dylan Sampson's one of them. I know he gets drafted and all that, but it was Dane Brugler. You're right, James. You're right. And I like Dane Brugler. And I think he's, I respect him and his opinion and stuff. So he's one of the good ones out there. So it's interesting. It makes me want to go back. But Dylan Sampson, I'm higher on than a lot of people. Cam Scattaboo, I'm higher on than a lot of people. RJ Harvey, I'm higher on. Brashard Smith, I'm also higher on. So Jordan James, I don't know. He's probably a late day 3 pick. No worries, Pete. No worries. To me, he's kind of a late day 3 pick, and I think he's probably just a backup. But again, we're taking shots in the 4th, and running backs are the position to take a shot on. The wide receivers get tough very, very fast in this draft class. 100% they do. So if you guys have any questions, rookie stuff, trade questions, any of that, let me know. I'll hang around for about 5 more minutes before I head out. We will be live again Saturday. I think it's 12 Eastern time. Maybe doing a Dynasty startup mock draft. So if you're interested in that, a Dynasty startup mock draft, then make sure to obviously hit the bell, subscribe to the channel, and of course join our Discord for that Dynasty startup mock. We can't ignore the startups. I know people are joining new Dynasty leagues and doing startups, so it's I'm always interested in that. I have absolutely zero trust that Restrepo will be good. Yeah. He's an interesting one. I think he's going to be a good NFL player. I think his skill set gives him a nice floor, but I don't know if he's ever going to be any type of difference maker type of player, even a top 24 guy consistently. So you see him getting drafted pretty high, though. You do see him getting drafted pretty high. And then Torrey Horton and Jalen Knoll, I like them. I think Jalen Knoll I have over Torrey Horton. Jalen Knoll, if we go back real quick before I finish up, we go back to the draft we just did. Assuming let's just say we don't know, we didn't play with the mock draft that we did and he was in the database. I think Jalen Knoll, let's just say we don't know landing spots, can be a sneaky late 2nd, early 3rd round pick, to be honest, assuming he gets at least day 2 draft capital. I actually kind of like him a little bit more than Higgins. I do think Higgins has more tools to kind of develop into a guy with a higher ceiling, but I think Knowles can give you Josh Downs, if Josh Downs is on a team that had a quarterback that could pass the ball, that type of production, like a guy who in deeper leagues will be started, in a little bit shallower leagues, 12 teams start 10. He's a bye week guy during those heavy bye weeks. So I like Jalen Knoll a lot. I don't know what his ceiling is exactly. I don't think he has a huge ceiling, to be like a top 20 guy consistently. But I think he could just be a consistently solid player. And why I like taking shots on those guys, in the 3rd or 4th round, is because I know they're going to at least give me a floor and they're going to get on the field most likely because they have a skill set that teams covet versus outside guys, like a Jaden Higgins or something like that. So that's kind of my thought there. I know they're going to get on the field. It's just whether or not are they going to, take that next step to being, fantasy relevant. So Torrey Horton, I also am intrigued by him. He's one of my favorite late round dart throw type of guys. So I think where he went here, not knowing draft capital, is kind of fair. To me, he is that late 3rd, early 4th as of right now. But I like taking a shot on him. There's not many receivers I really like taking a shot on because there's so many good running backs in this draft class. But yeah, Torrey Horton is a guy that I'm intrigued by him. I think I'm a little bit higher on than where he might go in the NFL draft and in Dynasty rookie draft. So I'm willing to take a shot on him for sure. But yeah, Saturday, we will be live. Join us, John, Pete, James, Jake, if you're still here. Anyone else for a Dynasty startup. Appreciate you guys always stopping in at the very least and mocking with me and stuff. So right now it's kind of the dead season as we get probably assuming as we get closer to the NFL draft, we're going to get more people in here, wanting to do mock drafts and stuff, I would assume. So yeah, 12 noon. So we'll be mocking here a Dynasty startup. So it'll be a lot of fun. And we are going to put together the listener league. That's going to start up in March. So at least one, maybe two. But appreciate everyone. If you're watching on replay, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. And I will catch you all in the live stream on Saturday. Have a great rest of your Thursday night.